Sound rolling, camera rolling. Sir,
Yeah.
we are ready.
Okay. I am excited to take you through this series of construction management with Brenman, wherein we'll explore the different stages that are involved in a project life cycle. We'll take the example of a road project. Now, the first stage that comes is the project initiation. Now, the project could be a part of a development control plan in case it is an urban project, or it could be a part of the long-term plan of NHAI or MORTH. For instance, the Mumbai-New Delhi expressway, which is being built and which has been completed in many parts, that was a part of the long-term plan of MORTH. Or a third possibility is that in case any major facility like Vadhavan Port, for instance, which is being planned near Palghar in the state of Maharashtra, then you had to have the access roads on a large scale for servicing that facility. Or if it is a heavy industry, let's say a basic steel making plant, so then you need roads which had to be developed. Now the goals, let us talk of the goals for which the projects are undertaken. One of the major reasons is to effect time and distance savings. Normally, when these projects are planned, there is always a distance saving and a time saving, especially in case of PPP projects, because these are toll projects, and if people had to pay the toll, then the cost and the value of the time savings must be greater than the toll which they are paying. Or it could be improvement in the level of service. The 4-laning projects or 6-laning projects which are being currently undertaken, that could be an example of this. So such projects involve rehabilitation and reconstruction, widening and all. So that ultimately improves the level of service. A third reason could be traffic decongestion. Example, the recently completed Mumbai Coastal Road project. This is of course a part of it which has been commissioned between Marine Drive till the southern end of the Bandra Worli Sealing project. Even this has affected substantial decongestion of traffic in the Western Express Highway and the linking road or the SV road and the SV road combined. Before this project was built, the traffic count, the daily traffic count was in excess of 100,000 vehicles. So you can imagine the congestion that it must be causing on the Western Expressway and these two roads, namely the SV road and linking road. The full potential of this project will be realized when it will be connecting right up to Borivali and beyond till Virar. So this is again a part of the long-term plan of the BMC and the government of Maharashtra. Now, what is the process involved for executing these projects? So firstly, there is economic and financial viability which has to be checked, and this is based on the preliminary costs. The environmental impact assessment also needs to be done in order to see what the challenges are, what could be the mitigating measures. After this comes the detailed engineering. Normally, the project proponent will appoint some consultant to carry out the detailed engineering. Then comes obtaining the statutory permissions and clearances and making available unencumbered land for the project. So this is again a task for the project proponent. Organizing finance. Now these are big projects. Nowadays very large infrastructure projects are being undertaken in Maharashtra, in Mumbai for instance. Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai, MCGM, or BMC, which is called, I believe. So there is the huge amount of expenditure. So BMC must ensure that they have funds in place. And then the procurement actions which are to be taken by the project proponent, that is in terms of floating the tenders and finalizing the contractors. Now here, if it is a project which is undertaken on PPP basis or BOT, DBFOT basis, then some of the activities like carrying out detailed engineering and all, that is done by the concessionaire. This also includes arranging for the finance. Now, various stakeholders and their roles. Now, who are the stakeholders? It is the project proponent, and then the contractors, the consultants. So these are the stakeholders. And of course, the public also is definitely a stakeholder. So one of the tasks which is to be undertaken while doing a project is that after the detailed engineering is done, public consultations are mandatory. So the project proponent, he explains to the public what are the project provisions, and the public is given an opportunity in a time-bound fashion within which they must raise their objections, suggestions to the client. It is another matter that despite doing public consultations, public does come up with last-minute changes which become really difficult to incorporate and execute. So we have talked about statutory clearances, arranging of finance, and then comes the contractor. So contractor, if it is a traditional contract wherein the client does the design and arranges the finance, the contractor just has to construct. Another very important stakeholder is the supervision consultant. So he supervises the project on behalf of the client and ensures quality, assesses claims, assesses extension of time applications, and so on. Now, when we are doing the projects, differences are bound to occur. So there are provisions which are kept in the contract to address these differences. Now, if it is a FIDIC-based contract, the supervision consultant is authorized, is designated as an engineer, and he is empowered to not only to review but also recommend or approve the contractor's claims, contractor's applications for extension of time. But what generally happens is, in most of the Indian projects, the powers that are given to the engineer are curtailed. So the engineer only reviews and recommends his recommendation to the client as far as the contractor's claims are concerned and his applications for the extension of time are concerned. The next step, and suppose if the contractor is not happy or if he doesn't accept the engineer's determination, then there is a dispute resolution board, or DRB as it is called. So this comprises, normally there are some 2-3 members of this DRB. One is proposed by the contractor and the other one is proposed by the client. And there is a third one who acts as a referee. So generally this is the composition of the DRB. So DRB studies the engineer's recommendation and the contractor's appeal and then recommends. Just in case the contractor still doesn't accept, or not only the contractor, the owner also can disagree with the DRB's recommendations. So the last resort is called the arbitration. So arbitration, it has its own rules, and there are instances when even arbitral awards have not been accepted by the stakeholders. So finally, it goes to the court. One example which I would like to highlight is the Mumbai Trans Harbour Link, or MTHL as it is called. Now this project, surprisingly, it was initiated, the idea was mooted more than 60 years ago in 1963 when it was proposed as Uran Bridge. And it was only in the year 2006 that ILFS submitted their bid on BOT, that is Build, Own, Operate and Transfer basis. But somehow that also did not work out. In the year 2011 to 13, Government of Maharashtra, it obtained all the clearances and floated the bid. But surprisingly, they did not receive any bids. The major reason being the financial risks and the other risks which are associated with the project, they were not clearly defined. Also, the statutory requirements like the navigational clearance which the bridge must have, that went on changing. The requirement was not frozen. So as a result, none of the bidders quoted their bid and they were simply unwilling to take any risks. So it was in the year 2016-17 that MMRDA was appointed as a MMRDA, that means Mumbai Metropolitan Regional Development Authority. They were appointed as the nodal agency for executing this project. And this time, the contracts, rather the tenders, were floated on EPC basis. And there was a long-term loan which was procured from JICA, since the project involved huge expenditure. So 2018, the construction work started and it was completed in the year 2024. So the key takeaway from all this is that the engineering must be correct, all provisions must be carefully thought of. The bid documents have to be realistic and with clearly defining the financial risks and any other valid points. So if all these things are done, then we can hope to have shorter gestation periods and successful projects. Thank you.